Charlie. I'm going to give you some suggestions for high blood pressure poses, things that will help to reduce your blood pressure. They're pretty simple, you don't need too much kit. I've got a few props here to suggest. If you've got it, that's okay. If not, you'll have to improvise. One thing that would be good to get is a bolster if you don't have one, but you can always get a pile of blankets that would look similar to that. A chair, any chair is good, a blanket, a couple of blankets, and sometimes it's useful to have bricks, but again, if you don't have bricks, you can get a pile of books or a little stool or something like that. So I'm going to give you about half a dozen suggestions for poses you can do, and you can do them consecutively in this order, or you can say, I've got 5 minutes, I feel like doing X, and you can do that. I'm also going to send you a photograph of the page of all the poses laid out so that you can choose some of those that you feel like doing. And I know that your knee isn't that flexible, so I've tried to avoid things that involve knee bending, okay? All right, so the first one is going to be resting your head in a forward bend. So I've adjusted it this way. I'm going to have 2 bricks, one either side, for your hands, and I'm going to rest my head on here. Now, if your head doesn't rest so low, I'm going to give you a suggestion of having a little bit of height there. So find a height that rests for your head, that suits your head. The idea is to have the head lower than the heart in many of these, either in a forward bend or in a gentle back bend. So I'm going to suggest that you rest the head and that you have your hands rested on a brick or something similar. Make sure the legs are vertical and the head is rested in a comfortable way. So these can be just beside you, under the shoulders, and you could be here for several minutes. The idea is that these poses are relaxing and enable you to lower the heart rate. All right, so if after I've demonstrated these you want to just stop the recording and try it out, that's okay. I'm just giving you a little taste. So that's the first one. For the next one we're going to have a look at is a downward dog, downward facing dog. So for that one, I suggest that you take the pose by the wall. You don't have to by any means. I'll show you 2 ways of doing it. One of them is to have your feet against the wall, and you're going to have something underneath your head. This pose, when you do it, should be supported underneath your head. 1 second. Rita, that's too loud. So I'm going to put this here. It could also be something softer, like a bolster. And we're going to come into all fours with your heels on the wall and your head rested down. Now, it may be for you that it's a little bit higher, but the idea is you want your heels rested against the wall. Take some time to get into the pose. And when you're ready, find the height for your head. Don't find the height first and then try to make the pose, all right? So if this is a little bit too low, you want to find something that's a good height, get the pose ready, heels on the wall, spread the palms, lift the hips, and then rest the head. So the idea is that the head is lower than the heart. So those are the first 2 poses, the forward bend and the downward dog. Next we're going to do some simple standing poses. So you don't need any props for these, and you can also do them against the wall. So if you choose to stand by the wall, the first one is simply Tadasana, so standing tall, rolling the shoulders back, and then lifting up the arms. Lifting up the arms high as you can, stretching. If you find that your heart begins to beat faster when you do this, and then simply lower the arms, maybe have them out to the side. All right, so that's the first one. The second one is to have the legs spread out as if you were about to do triangle pose or warrior pose, but we're not going to do it, we're simply going to stretch the arms out. So again, if this makes the heart beat faster, release the arms down to this height and simply stand there and stretch. Have firm legs, press the thighs back, lift the kneecaps up and stretch the arms out to the tips of your fingers. All right, so this is another one that is going to be helpful for you. And then heel and toe to get back in, back to Tadasana. A couple more in this pose with the feet slightly apart. Instead of raising the arms up this way, you can hold on to the elbows. Lift your arms up, open the shoulders, open the armpits. I think what we're doing here is creating space in the chest, all right? Space for the heart, space for the lungs, and just an active standing pose. So this is one here. And then another one from the back, Charlie, is where you're going to press the palms together in reverse prayer pose. So you may find that you can do that. You're going to bring the fingertips together, turn them to walk up the back, press the palms together, and open the chest. Again, it's to help open the heart, create space in the heart area. So if you're able to do that, you can stand here for a while. If the wrists don't want to do that, you can simply hold on to the elbows and roll the shoulders back. All right, so there are a couple of options there in standing poses. Now I've got a couple of seated poses. One of the first ones is a twist, and I'll show you this one, but it may be a bit tough on your knees. So you know what, we're going to do it on the chair. I've got another alternative for a seated twist, which is on the chair. So you can find any chair and then put a blanket on it so that it's a little bit comfortable. Alternatively, you can put a sticky mat on it so that it's not slippy, and then you're going to simply sit in it. If you can get the chair to accommodate you to sit in it, we'll do a twist in this way. If it doesn't work, I'll show you how to do the twist sideways with the chair. But assuming you've got a chair without a back that you can get in, you're going to have the feet a foot apart, hip width apart, have the knees also hip width apart. If you have something like a brick, a book, a box of tissues, anything that's not going to fall on your toe and hurt it, you can rest this in between because it keeps the knees and the feet in place. And then you're going to sit tall, so hold on to the back of the chair, roll the shoulders back, sit tall. And already this is working on your posture, opening the chest, creating space in the diaphragm and the rib cage. And then we're going to turn. So I'm going to take the right hand to the left side of the chair and the left hand behind me, lift and turn, lift and turn. Inhale as you lift, exhale as you turn. And you can hold that for half a minute. To start off with, you can increase it over time. Other side, left hand to the right, right hand behind you, lift and turn. Lift and turn. So the other benefit is you get work on the neck, you get mobility, flexibility in this area. So to come out, I like to stand up and tip the chair forward, makes it easier to get out. And I'll show you how to do it from the side. If you're using a chair like this and you don't have one without a back, you can simply sit on the chair to the side like this and then turn towards the back of the chair for your twist. So you ground the heels, grip your tissue box or your brick with your knees, lift tall and then turn. Look over the right shoulder, come back to the center and swivel around and do the same on the other side. Okay. Now we're going to do a forward bend on a chair. So I've got the chair here. I'm going to sit with my feet under it and then rest my head on the chair. Let's see if this works. So it can be any chair. I've got a yoga chair because it doesn't have a back, but you're going to come in close to it and rest the head, holding onto the edges. Okay? And the idea with these resting poses is that they calm the mind, they slow down the heartbeat, and hence the blood pressure. So really a lot of relaxation and restorative poses are what you need. And then from here, there are other poses, but this may be good for a start. So the important one to finish off with is the relaxation pose, the Shavasana. And again, if you have a bolster, you can use that. If you don't, you can use a pile of blankets. So I'll use a pile of blankets so that you can see how it works. And I'm going to use a blanket that's this shape and then fold it in half. So I'm going to put it here and a couple of others on top. Accumulate lots of kit as a yoga teacher, for sure. So let's see, I'm going to do it this way. Let's say we have 3 blankets like this. And then, so you might want to grade it a little bit so that when you lie back on it, it's comfortable for your back. And then maybe have an extra, well, not maybe, definitely have an extra height for your head. If that's not enough, because you want the head, when you're resting, a little bit higher than the heart, then have an extra one, and you can create a little bit more height. So the resting pose is sitting down, allowing yourself to lie back, and then bring the blanket in for support under the head. Roll the shoulders down and back, and also take the flesh with the hands and slide it down toward the heels. So you don't want a sharp arch in the lower back. You want the back to be long and gently sloping. Okay? So the shoulders are rolled under so that you've got space again in this whole chest and diaphragm area. Rest the arms out to the side and then release the legs one by one. If you have any lower back pain, it's good to keep the knees bent or to pop something like a rolled blanket under the knee. So you could put that under the knee, let the knees fall apart and simply rest. And make sure that the chin is lower than the forehead. You don't want to be in this position, which is very tense for the back of the neck. So pick up the head with your thumb on your jaw, your fingers on the temples, lift it up and lengthen the back of the neck, soften the throat as you find that softness in the front of the neck and extension in the back of the neck. And then completely relax. Begin to focus on your breath. And in the relaxation pose, focus on long, extended exhalations. No holding of the breath, smooth breathing, Steady inhalations, long, extended exhalations. And if your focus begins to wander away, bring it back to the breath, and you can even add some envisioning to the breath. You can add, for example, you might think of the ocean receding away from the beach and the shore, and then flowing back onto the shore with your in-breath. So you can have a visual for your in-breath and out-breath, or you could count numbers, 1, 2, 3 for an in-breath, 1, 2, 3 for an out-breath. So both of those are good. And I recommend that you try and do a relaxation every day, if you don't already, for 10 minutes or 15 minutes, to keep relaxation in the front of your mind. And then you can stay longer, obviously, or switch off the recording, but if you're coming out, you bend the knees, you bend the arms, come out very slowly, roll onto your right side, and then use your left hand to sit up. And then finish in any way that you like. Namaste. So Charlie, I hope some of these are helpful. It must be awful to have a pounding heart, especially in the middle of the night. So breathing is really good, relaxation is really good, and if I can find any other things to send you, I will. I'll definitely take a picture of some of the other poses, and I hope this is helpful. Sending you lots of love. Bye-bye.